So last Friday, we finally got a commitment from the Boozer twins, who are near the top of next year's draft class, and they decided to go to Duke. It was between Florida, Miami, and I believe their final two, they had Miami in there. But I think everybody knew that at the end of the day, it was going to be Duke. That was also where their dad, Carlos, went. What are we thinking is going to – what are some of the expectations for them next year? I know Duke doesn't have many other – I think the Boozer twins are the only people they have committed right now, but what do we expect from them at Duke? Personally, I'm just the chemistry that they have from playing in the EYBL in high school, I think gives them a very high ceiling.
Yeah, I think they were going to be successful wherever they went. I mean, this is a duo that has won Peach Jam for the last 3 years in the EYBL. Like, that's very, very unprecedented. I can't even remember the last team that won it all 3 years. So they're winners. They know how to play the game. I vividly remember like being at EYBL and seeing them walk past and like not looking at them like on my phone, but like those kids are like really, really big. Like they like blocked out the light for a second. Like,
they're built like football players, and they have basketball player height, which is
and like they're not just like oftentimes like kids that are like more advanced physically than other kids their age. Like they're like not very skilled. Like somebody like I'm kind of thinking of is like Vernon Carey. Like he had skill and like he could do certain things, but like you could tell like most of his game was just being bigger than other people.
Yeah.
Another former Duke guy as well.
Yeah, but like Cameron Boozer is not that. He's someone who can step out, he can dribble, he can run on a fast break, he passes really well. On defense, I don't necessarily think he's quite there yet, stepping out on the perimeter and guarding consistently. Like oftentimes his team kind of opted to have him play the middle of a 2-3. Which I think at this point is probably best just because it allows him to help and it doesn't like expose some of his flaws that he might have on the defensive end. But overall, like those two will be successful. Like they're too good of players not to be.
We think that take this year's draft class and you just chuck Cameron Boozer in there, you think he's in that top 10, top lottery right now?
I think if you put Cameron Boozer in this year's class, he's a top 3 pick, maybe 1 or 2.
I think they'd be discussing him with Flag, just because I feel like in some ways they do a lot of the same things, but they also do it at a very high level too, which is why I feel like they would just. I think it would be right now, instead of the discussion mainly just being Flag at 1, it would kind of be Flag and Boozer.
Yeah. He's got 40 pounds on Cooper Flag, which is insane to think about that he's in high school. It's also insane to think about that Cameron Boozer might not even be the best player in this recruiting class. Brandon, I know you're high on someone who's pretty much consensus #1 right now.
Yeah, AJ DeBonsa, he's a player I know Cameron and I are lucky enough to see in person. The one thing I will always remember seeing DeBonsa play, he was coming down the lane full speed. Some kid on the other end had just tried to dunk and miss, and he was like, all right, I'm going to show you what I got. He comes down the lane. Mind you, there are two kids under the rim. He goes up. It went in and out. The crowd, I don't think there were that many people there, but I just remember that was the loudest that the gym was, I think, the whole day I was there. And that's something I'll never forget because the size and the speed that he has, plus even watching his other games on TV and stuff, he has that takeover gene, you know? Like he can, whether it's shooting step backs, getting to the rim at will. And I think, you know, with a lot of kids who just attack the rim, it's like, okay, at the next level, he might not be able to do that. But DeBonsa genuinely has the skill set and the size where I think it will translate to the next level. He's just he's got a freak build and he has that scorer's mentality, which I think you love to see.
Yeah, he definitely has like that it factor, that like the ability to just take over a game. Like even he could not be playing well. Like there was a game in the EYBL where it's not like he was playing bad, but he just wasn't like necessarily all the way foot on the gas. And he came back and he scored big points down the stretch and he hit a game winner. And then you had the game at Geico where they lost to Link Academy, but like he wasn't shooting the ball well for the majority of the game, but he just stepped on the gas and willed the team back. to force overtime. So it's like he's just one of those players that when you watch him at some point of the game, he's going to click it on, and he's just special. Like in all aspects, he's just a special player.